Good morning. Good morning. Karen Pina here. Hey, listen, I just wanted to come on. I posted something about big platforms do not equate or do not equal, do not mean, good morning, do not mean that you're going to have big power. Doesn't mean big power. Doesn't mean you have any authority. And then I posted right behind that I'd rather have big power, big glory than a big platform. And I said that, it's not really a choice that you have to make. You can't have both. It just really depends on how you define big. How you define big. And so I could feel a flow coming on, a prophetic flow. So I grabbed my camera, all right, and I'm coming on. So that's why you can't see me. You can only hear me because I wasn't even planning on coming live. But I do want to share this because I believe it's going to bless people that are watching this. I'm going to be extremely transparent here, other than the ability to see me. But hey, you're looking at something called The Making. Good morning. Good morning. And this is a book that has taught me so much about ministry and business. Now, I'm going to walk you through a little bit of how I came to the point where I'm okay with the size, all right, the platform that God has given me in ministry and business. And I know this is a huge issue in the body. So many are scraping, scrapping, trying to get to what they perceive to be the top. Hallelujah. And it's interesting because this is exactly what people in the world do when they're trying to climb, quote, the corporate ladder, right? They're trying to get up to the top and they will sleep with anybody, walk over anybody. They will talk about anybody, backbite anybody, stab anybody. And we do the same thing over here and call it ministry, call it church, call it the kingdom. Pick a name, okay? Good morning, Felicia. Pick a name. And so, I haven't always been in this place where I was okay with the size of the platform that God has given me. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through how I got into this place, all right? Now, I never scrapped, or tried to climb to the top because, quite frankly, in corporate America, I never liked politics. I never liked jockeying for position. I never liked kissing butt, okay? So that was never a part of my personality. So that part I didn't have to worry about, but I did in secret, suffer for many years. Like, God, what you've given me is so profound. It's so powerful. Not that I was stuck on myself, but I knew that it was. And I just couldn't understand. I couldn't comprehend why I was only reaching, a few people here or there. And it's because I didn't really understand what he had given me. Wow. I didn't understand what I had. And so many of you're out here willing to sell your ministry, sell your business to the highest bidder. Wow. And you don't know what you have. You have a precious treasure on the inside of you. And perhaps that's why you're not able, welcome Denise, perhaps that's why you're not able to reach, the size of people that you think you should be reaching, okay? Perhaps that's why. So how I got here, Father had invited me to speak at this event, okay? This was years ago, and there were a slew of women that were speaking. And I was one of them. I prayed. He gave me an assignment. I went. That's your first lesson. If you're going to go somewhere, don't just go to preach a message. Make sure that you actually have an assignment. Oh my gosh. And that you're clear about what that assignment is. Okay. Then if you know you have an assignment, then you know that he's sending you. So many people, far too many people who say they're in ministry, they just, somebody invites them again because they're itching and scratching to get to the top. They just go. They have no assignment. They don't know what they're going to do, when they get there. Good morning, Hannah. And they don't know what they're going to do when they get there. They're just going. Okay, so that's the first thing you don't want to do. When someone invites you, let me tell you how I know that God wants me to go somewhere, that I have an assignment. When someone invites me somewhere, he'll just start speaking. He'll just start speaking. I don't even have to pray about it. Now, I wasn't always in this place, okay? But when I start praying about, do you want me to go, many years ago, he just dropped instructions in my lap. He just dropped the message in my lap. Visions began to open up to me, and I saw myself ministering to people in different ways. That's how I knew I was supposed to go. And this is what Jesus did. Jesus pulled away from the crowd, right? And he went to be with his Father. How do you think Jesus knew what he would say to people, who he would meet, how he would minister the day before? Because he was on his Father's glory calendar. Good morning, my sister. Good morning. He was on Father's glory calendar. You checking this out? So he knew exactly what was going to happen, and he prepared for it. That's what I'm suggesting to you. If someone's inviting you somewhere, or if you in your own, ministry, you're hosting an event, you're going to be, doing something, make sure that you have all of your instructions, your prophetic instructions, your apostolic strategies, all right, before you get going. So that's the place that I was in. So I went. And I got there, and I'm not the type of person when I'm invited someplace, I've learned to be humble, and I'm not the type that likes to, sit in my room and, have people wait on me hand and foot. And then when it's my time to minister, that's when I show up like the grand poobah. No, so I was involved in everything. I went to everyone's, session. I wanted to hear people. I wanted to greet people. I wanted to meet people. And so I get there, and I'm preparing, and it's my day to begin to minister. And I get into the mirror, and I'm about to come on, and I was plumb exhausted, you all, plumb exhausted. And Father spoke to me, and he said, "Is this what you really want?" And I paused for a minute, because I knew exactly what he was asking me. What he was asking me is, I know you've been wondering about the size of your platform. I know you've been desiring to be, to travel and minister and to be on, bigger stages, if you will. And he said, "Is this really what you want?" And so he allowed me to experience, quote, being on a bigger stage. And I didn't like what I saw, quite frankly. And what I saw was people that were jumping from one plane to the next. Wow. And showing up completely empty. Showing up completely empty. They had nothing to give the people. They weren't carrying any instructions inside of their spirit being from heaven. They had not spent the time with Jesus, with the Godhead, to even know what to do. They had no visions of what was going to happen the day before. At best, they perhaps preached the same thing they preached or taught at the last event. And so I said, no, that's not what I want. I waited, I paused, and I really thought hard about what he was asking me. And I said, no, that's not what I want. And so that moment changed the trajectory of what I'm doing right now, which is why I have this book up behind me, The Making. Okay. And it began a journey of me becoming an accurate reflection of Christ. Said differently, being glorified. Okay, it's when I came into the place to recognize that I need to be glorified, and that's every area of my life. I need to experience glory in my temple. All right, I need to eat right. I need to exercise. I need to go to bed. I need to get a certain amount of hours of sleep. Okay, I need to see glory in my relationships. I don't believe in divine connections because witches are divine. No, I believe in glory connections. What do I mean by that? I mean, the glory that's been awakened, Psalm 57 and 8, on the inside of me, is now connecting with the glory on the inside of someone else who has also had their glory awakened. I believe in glory connections. Okay, so he taught me about that. Then I was working in corporate America at the time this book was birthed, and so he taught me how to see glory in my career, okay, in my career. And then I went on to start a couple of businesses. And again, I found the same theme. Why am I only reaching a certain amount of customers? I mean, I did all the right things. You know, I got on every guru's mailing list. I, prayed. I marketed. I figured out who my ideal client was. I mean, I did everything, quote, that you're supposed to do to be successful in business, right? And again, still reaching a few people. And I didn't understand, okay, what I had. That's the key here. I didn't understand what I had. When you don't know what you really have, wow, you'll seek things that are way outside of what he originally in purpose, his intent and his design for your business and for your ministry. Okay, so fast forward to the present. I came through all of that, and where I am today is this work that he has given me. While I may not be sitting on what some people perceive to be a big platform, there's big power here. Wow, there's big authority here. We have seen, we meaning my husband and I, because he works with me, we have seen deaf ears opened. Okay, we have seen people who had no jobs get jobs, all right, in impossible situations where they weren't going to even hire them to work there. We have seen supernatural debt cancellation of student loans increase. We've seen people's lives change in the same way that he walked me through changes in my life, healing, deliverance. We've seen people get baptized in the Spirit that, quite frankly, didn't even know anything about tongues, right? And was going to church every week, sitting under some pastor, all right? So those are just some of the things. And where I am today is there's different ways to define big. And that's really what I want. Denise is saying yes. That's really what I want you to understand today. Okay? It's about how you define big. Some people define big as, I'm sitting up on a flyer, and I'm just going to pick a name. Okay? I'm sitting up on a flyer with Juanita Bynum. Love Juanita Bynum. Bishop Bynum, okay, I think that's her title now. I'm just using this as an example, okay, especially if you're a woman, she's someone that you've seen, come into the forefront. So many people who are women that have a prophetic type of ministry, right, they've longed to be in that same kind of place, right? So that's how some might define big, all right? And most, quite frankly, that's how they define big. But I'm here, and I came on today to tell you to don't be deceived to think that that's the only definition of big, okay? That's not the only definition of big. You want to be looking for big power, big authority, big glory. That's how you define big. And let me tell you something. The way that glory works, there aren't many people that are going to be receptive to it. And it took me a long time to figure that out. I've come on this particular timeline. I've talked about the glory romantic before. And the glory romantic is one, thank you, Hannah. The glory romantic is the type of person that loves the power aspect of the glory, right? They love what God can do in terms of showing forth his power. For example, they love the aspect when kabod, K-A-B-O-W-D, comes down on their flesh, bears down on them, and they fall out on the ground. In other words, they love all the charismatic aspects, okay, of the glory. But here's where it gets dicey for them. When he starts requiring refinement in every area of their life, like this book back here that I told you that he walked me through, all right? When he starts saying, give me this, give me that, keep your mouth closed, you can't say that. Go over there and apologize to that person. I had something happen this week, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to share it right here, all right? Because I always teach, this is transparent, right? That's what we're looking for, transparency. So I had some errands to run on Monday. And when I came back, my husband cut the grass, did some yard work on Sunday. And when I came back, I noticed that there was some grass out in front of our house, like out toward the street. And we live in a cul-de-sac, and there's neighbors. Our lots are not wide, but they're kind of long. They're very deep. And so there's a plot between us where, you see that, Denise? There's a plot between us, wow, where you can kind of, get confused about whose land is whose. Well, anyway, there's some grass out there, and I, quite frankly, did not want to sweep in front of the neighbor's house because I had my own issues, okay? All this junk was going on in my soul about, pride, really. They don't take care of their, home like we do. Pride of ownership. You hearing this? Pride of life, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes. And I was like, no, let them get up their own grass. And God spoke to me as clear as day, like I'm talking to you. And he says, do you think where I'm getting ready to take you, the wealthy neighborhood that I'm getting ready to put you in, do you think that's how they act? Do you think wealthy people talk like that, act like that, sound like that? Whoa. Now I heard that, right? But look, I have my own justification and reasons, okay, why I wasn't going to get that grass up. And I dug my heels in and I kept sweeping. I swept all down around the cul-de-sac. And then God said to me, how is that grass that you just overlooked that I told you to get up, how is that improving the look of the neighborhood? Now, I have seen in a vision the next place that he's bringing us to, right? And so he said to me at that moment, he said, now, someone could come right this second. Your house isn't even for sale. And they could come right now this second and look to buy your house. But because you left that little piece of grass out there, that might be the one thing that deters them. I still didn't get the grass up, you all. I still didn't get the grass up. I kept sweeping and it was hot. And so then I shifted from all of my excuses about the neighbor to why I wasn't going to get it. Oh, it's almost 1 o'clock. I haven't had anything to eat today. Oh, it's hot out here. I came on in the house and I began to make my lunch. I came on in the house. I made my lunch. And then my husband calls because we check in throughout the day. And he was like, what you been up to? When I told him about my day. And then he had to go. He said, I'll call you back. So I didn't get to the part about the grass. So this is like an hour or two later, you all, when he finally calls me back, God spoke to me. And he says, Karen, you can change the ending of this story. He said, before you pick up that phone, you can change the ending, shavasa, of your story. What you're about to tell him. So I picked up the phone real quick and I told my husband, about the grass. I said, he goes, yeah, I think you should hang up. He goes, you should go. And I said, yeah. So I had already put on my kind of lounge clothes. I put back on my outdoor clothes. I ran outside and I swept the grass up. Then when I came back in the house, listen to this. I'm going somewhere with this story, okay? This glory story. When I came back in the house, something opened up to me. A key in my relationship with the Father. Okay? He revealed something that has been a hindrance in my relationship in communicating with my husband. Wow. And it started with just sweeping up a little patch of grass. I'm sharing this to say two things. Steps of obedience are interconnected. When God tells you to do something, if you don't do it, the next thing that he has for you, you've missed that. That next step, okay, that you can't see prior to obeying, you completely miss that next step. You disqualify yourself from that next thing that he wants to do because you didn't obey the first thing that he told you to do. Steps of obedience are connected. The next reason why I went down this path is to say this is where people run. People don't want this level of realness in their relationship with God. They don't want God telling them what to do. They don't want to relinquish control, okay, of what they do, when they do it, how they do it. They don't want him busting in to their atmosphere, controlling what they listen to. They want to keep watching rated R movies. Wow. They want to keep watching reality TV. They want to keep all their vocabulary. That's right, Denise. Steps of obedience are interconnected. They want to keep all their vocabulary, all their unholy, worldly, wow phrases and terminology. That's when the glory romantic runs. They don't want that level of refinement. How in the world can you say that he's my Lord and Savior, but he really can't have control over anything in your life? He can't even control your tongue. He can't break down all your excuses and justifications for why you can't give him what he says he wants. And then after I did all that, he said to me, because last week I pressed in so strong. I pressed in so strong because I sensed that God wanted to do something great with me. Welcome, welcome, Charlene. I pressed in so greatly because I discerned that God wanted to do something so great in my life. So what I did was I prayed in the Spirit every day for hours. And I did this 3 days last week back to back. 3 days back to back. And so after I experienced what I experienced, he said to me, he said, the reason why you're experiencing what you're experiencing is because of the time that you put in last week. Wow. The time that you put in last week. That's why you're experiencing what you are experiencing. And he said to me, many people have this expression that, I want more of God, and that, give me more, give me more, give me more. And I know you've heard that, right? We even sing songs like that. We want more of God. And he says, here's what happens. When you give me more of you, I give you more access to my glory. Okay, we're never going to get any more glory than what we already have. Wow. Because if Christ is already living on the inside of you, you are all glory. You have all glory. But the amount that you have access to, because we're talking about, remember, we're looking at big platforms, right? And how you define that. Okay? How you define that. So the amount of access to glory that you have will be completely contingent upon the amount of access that you give him to the stuff in your life. Wow. So if you're the type that want to hold on to all the things that I just mentioned, all the aforementioned things, then you're not going to be in a great place, because you're going to have small power and small platform. And I'd much rather have, big power and not so big platform. Okay? It's a choice. And that's why I shared my story with you about how I was at a point of decision where I was in that mirror looking in that hotel room about to speak, and he asked me, is that what you want? It's a choice. But be clear. Be very clear. And like I posted, do not be deceived. Be very clear about what you're deciding. Be very clear about what you're deciding. Okay? Be very, very clear. Make sure you know what you're really getting. Don't make a decision until you make sure that you know what you're really getting. What trade are you willing to make for the glory? That's what I'm basically saying. Wow. And for me, I'm not willing to make a trade for I'm not willing to make a trade for the glory. I'm just not going to do it. And that's what I told my husband going back to the grass. I said, a small little piece of grass is not going to stop me from getting to what God has for me. And I'm not talking about stuff, I'm talking about glory. A little piece of grass in between me and my neighbor is not going to stop that. And that's how you get more access to his glory. And that's how your platform grows. Not externally, but internally. How big is the platform on the inside of you? How much glory do you have access to on the inside of you? That's what we need to be looking at. Not who's standing up on what stage. How many flyers are flying down our timeline on Facebook. Who's going to be on the Word Network today, tomorrow, next week, TBN, whatever the case may be. And see, remember, I started this by saying that when you don't know what you have, that's what you'll be seeking after, right? For me, what I have learned is that I must be in a place of prayer. Remember, I told you what I did last week. You can't do that when you're ripping, running here, there, and everywhere. You can't pray all day in the spirit. You don't have that luxury. So prayer is where you get big, okay? That's where you get big, and that's where what God has assigned your hand increases. And that's when he connects you with the people. Remember, glory connections, okay, that you need to be connected with. It happens in your prayer closet. Give me a scripture. Okay, I will. When you go into your closet and pray in secret, he'll reward you openly. Not who you're connected to, not who you know, not how much networking you're doing, not how much marketing you're doing. Okay? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things in and of themselves, because I have marketed, and if he leads me to tomorrow, I still will. But my trust and hope is not in marketing. My trust and hope is not in networking. My trust and hope is not even what I know. Okay? And I have been through a lot of training. You know, I said 30 plus years in corporate America. I have an extensive background in business and ministry, but I'm not putting my trust in that. One time I was ministering, and there was so much glory on me. I'll never forget this. And afterwards, because I debrief afterwards. Every time Father uses me to minister, I go back and debrief with him, like, how'd I do? You know, that kind of thing. And now I've come into the place where I don't even need to ask him. He just tells me. But back then I was asking. And he said to me, yeah, you know, and I was saying, wow, you were so strong tonight. You moved so strongly through me. And he says, yeah, because you were fasting. You just, you know, came off of a fast. And he says, I want to tell you something. I don't ever want you to forget it. He says, you are only as powerful as your last fast. Wow. You are only as powerful as your last fast. So I said that to say that it's fasting and praying that expands you. Even Jude 3:20 said what? That, you know, you're building yourself up on your most holy faith. You're becoming a taller, wider, stronger temple. In some translations it says edifice. I like temple because we are the temple of the Most High. So when you're praying and fasting and doing the things that I just mentioned, staying in your word, okay, really connecting with him, that's when he enlarges you. Enlarge my territory, we pray. We pray the Jabez prayer. Great. Get in your prayer closet. Call a fast. That's how you're going to get enlarged. That's how everything you need is going to come to you. So I just want to come on this morning and really, really quickly put this on my timeline, because it's so sad to see how we have strayed so far away from basic principles of promotion. Promotion comes from above, but you got to get in above, because above is in the heavenlies. So you got to get in the heavenlies. If you really want a promotion, you got to get above. You got to come up here. You got to get in, okay, him to get your promotion. It doesn't come from the east or from the west. It doesn't come from man's hand. Okay? You've heard the expression. Your mama probably said it. I put you in this world, I can take you out. Well, when man promotes you, he or she says something like, I brought you to this platform, I can take you off of it. Or I put you here, I can remove you from it. Is that really what we want? Is that really what we want? But Revelation tells us that he is a door opener. And when he opens the door, can't nobody shut it. Come on now. When he gives you a key, can't nobody take it from you. Wow. And how do you get those keys? You get them in prayer. You get the keys to open up things in his Vasata. In his kingdom, you get them in prayer. So this is really a call to stop seeking self-aggrandizement, to stop seeking bigger platforms outside of yourself, to stop seeking the next big whatever, okay, that you're after. It's a call to let him burn out. Masate. Burn out all of your ambition, all of your goals. I only have one goal, and that's to be consistently glorified in whatever area he's calling for at that moment. That's it. I don't have any other goal. I don't have any other ambition. And I know that whatever and wherever he wants me to be, I'll be there. And so I want to challenge you, allow him to retrain your mind. Retrain how you define big. You can be doing big things that nobody ever sees. It's not about what they see or can see. It's about being big in heaven. Remember the 7 sons of Sceva who tried to do something that they had no authority and power to do? They had not been in that place with him to gain the power to cast out the demon. And the demon was like, look, Paul, I know. Jesus, I know. Who are you? Right? And we use that a lot to, for deliverance. And it's a great application for that. But the thing I want to draw your attention to is this. Does heaven know your name? Does heaven know who you are? And and when heaven knows who you are, that includes the demonic. Because remember, there's a first, a second, and a third heaven. There's a first, a second, and a third. And so when you're talking about the heavenlies, you're talking about everything in it. Okay? So that includes all of heaven. All right? So that's what's important, really, isn't it? Isn't that what's important? Not who knows your name on Facebook, not who knows your name on Instagram, not who knows your name on Twitter, Periscope, whatever social media platform you may happen to be, or even on TV for that matter. This is not about media, people. Ministry is not about media. Now, yes, he might use media. I'm on a media platform bringing you what he told me to bring you. He will use it, but it's not about that. There's all sorts of stuff. Hey, Regan. There's all sorts of stuff that's going on that you can't see, okay, that have nothing to do with the media platforms. All sorts of stuff going on. Again, that's where getting in the secret place. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Listen, I don't even come on my timeline much, and you all know that. This is probably like, the first time in months. All right, so there's always something going on. There's always something going on in the heavenlies. And everything that happens, quite frankly, what I've learned about glory is that it's a mystery. It's stealth. It moves in mysterious ways. And that's not always stuff that I need to be posting all over social media. It's not stuff that everybody needs to be privy to. All right, so again, I'm talking about the difference in platforms and how you define big. Okay, it took me, what I'm telling you in this little short, live, it took me years to learn this. I struggled and suffered for many years, wondering why nobody was inviting me to preach. All right, I had done all the prep work, if you will. Went to all the schools, did all the stuff that you think you'd be able to do, and people should be calling you. They should be, inviting you. I had the website, I had it all. But the bottom line was that that's not the type of work that I'm called to. I am not called to that type of work. I'm called to prepare his people. Okay, I'm not called to go out and preach a message. I'm prepared to get a people glorified. That's what I'm called to do. I'm called to cover your earth, every aspect of your earthen vessel, with the knowledge of his glory. That's what I'm called to do. And if I land on someone's platform as a result of that, great. But that's not my aim. That's not my goal. That's not what I'm striving for. And because I'm not there or you're not there, it does not mean that the work he's assigned your hands, oh my gosh, is small. I pray for every person listening to this live and on the replay. I pray that he will deliver you and set you free from the spirit of ambition. I pray that you will focus back in on him, your first love, that you will focus back in on the one who holds the keys to every door in the realm of the spirit that you could ever want to be opened, that you could ever desire. To be open. And I pray that he purify your desires. I pray that he purify your desires and that you would only desire what he desires for you. I pray that you will fall out of love with big doors and things that look like they're shining and things that look popular and celebrity status and six figures and all the self-promotion that we see here. I pray that you be free from all of that. And I pray that he will give you a fresh revelation of what it is that he has put you here to do. And then once he reveals it, I pray that you will have the boldness to pursue it with passion. I pray that you would be strengthened in your calling so that if a little fox were to jump up on what he is building through you, I pray that you would not be moved. I pray that the wall that he is building up in you to do the work he's assigned you to do won't be fragile, won't be so moved by what you see other people doing. I pray that he'll give you the focus of Nehemiah. I pray that he will give you the focus and the strength of Nehemiah, that you will not be moved based on the taunts of other people that look like that they have power. I pray. Now, they may not come out and taunt you directly, but every time they post something, it's a taunt. It's like a dagger. It's like an arrow that comes to you, reminding you how small you are, how small the work is that he has assigned your hands, how you're no further than you were back whenever. Okay, that's a trick of the enemy. I pray that you will not be moved by the taunts. I pray that you'll have the strength and the focus of Nehemiah. I pray that in your heart and in your mind and on your lips will be a confession that I'm about a great work and I can't come down. I'm about a great work. A great work, not a big work, a great work, and I can't come down. Wow. And Father, my Heavenly Father, defines my greatness. Not Facebook, not social media, not somebody else's flyer. He defines my greatness. Oh, la zebebebe shebe. Hey, zadavakasa. Hey, Dana, and if he has revealed that what I am doing is great, then it is great, and I'm going to trust him. Although I may not be reaching the clients that I want to reach, although I may not have the amount of money that he has promised me, although I may not be where he has told me that I'm going to be, I'm going to trust him because there is greatness on the inside of me. And that greatness, the name, Shabasi, is Jesus. That is a great name. That's a powerful name. That's the name that's far above all principalities and powers. And I'm seated with him in that place. I'm not beneath anybody because I'm not doing X or Y. No, I am in the heavenly places. I'm in heavenly realms. Seated. Hele visava, hey Xenia, with Christ in heavenly places. I'm above. I'm never beneath. I'm above. I'm never beneath. And I am wise. I'm not comparing myself with what somebody else is doing. I'm not comparing myself with what someone else is doing, because the scripture tells me that's wise. I'm going to start comparing myself to the standard of Christ. Have I reached the standard of Christ yet? Wow. Have I reached his standard? That's when I know I'm great. When I can clearly say that I have reached the standard of Christ, that's when I know I'm great. When I am accurately reflecting Christ in my business, that's greatness. When I'm accurately reflecting Christ in the ministry that I am being called to every day to serve other people, that's greatness. And that's what I'm after. That's what I'm after. I'm after sounding like him, looking like him. Hey, I'm about a great work. I'm about a great work. That's right. Jesus is the standard. I'm about a great work and I can't come down. I'm about a great work and I can't come down. I can't be looking to the left or to the right, because the voice that I need to hear is behind me. It's behind me. I told you that I was praying last week and even this week, and I want to share something real quick. Okay, so that's the prayer. I'm kind of shifting now out the prayer for you. I want to share this. This week I was praying and Shabbat. And I went into a vision and I was able to see some things in the spirit that were hindering my husband and I financially. And I had never seen this before. Never, ever, ever. I haven't even talked about it, okay, except for with my husband. And I'm going to prepare you for what I'm about to say, because it's out there, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's going to be different. It's going to be strong, but I believe it's going to help you, which is why I'm sharing it. So anyway, I was praying, and Father began to reveal to me that there were some marine spirits, okay, marine spirits. And if you've read or heard anything about that, you know that they typically, obviously, is marine, they're in the water, right? Well, I didn't know much about it. I've never read any books about it. I've never heard anybody preach about it, teach about it, nothing. And so over the past year or so, Father has been having us decree over our finances, okay? It's a book right here that's available. I'm not selling it. I'm not offering anything. I'm just telling you, okay? It's right up on it's the cover photo of my profile here, Decreeing for Kingdom Wealth, okay? So that's the place I've been in for a year, right? Decreeing for Kingdom Wealth. So I was doing the decrees. And Father had promised us a wealth, okay, in the sense of a river, a stream, a current, all right, of wealth that's being released from the heavenlies, okay? And it's glory. It's basically glory. It's a glory stream. So I was praying in that vein and issuing that decree. I can't even tell you. Remember, I've been doing this for a year, okay? For a year. But this week, when I got to that part of the decree of what he said, the river, the current, the stream, Holy Spirit paused right there. And it was like I heard myself in a different way as I was saying this aloud. And immediately he quickened and revealed that it was the marine spirit that was holding up things for us. Spirits. And I was about to go study, right? Because I don't know anything about it. And he spoke to me, he said, Karen, he said, what do you know? Don't turn on that computer. What do you know? So I start telling him what I knew. You know, I went through how I know what sharks do, right? They come to kill. I know what seaweed does. It comes to wrap itself around, things and push it down, to the bottom of the floor of the ocean or the river. And then I went on and I said, I know about pirates. And I said, yeah, they try to steal your treasure. Wow. At that moment, I jumped up out my seat. Maseti Sata. I grabbed my staff and I ran into another room. That's how heavy it was on me. And I began to pray. with my staff, and I saw the pirates, and they were groping down around the bottom, okay, of our current, and stop trying to steal our glory treasure. At that moment, okay, I'm looking at them. At that moment, I could see God behind me. That's why I went into Olivier Jeveve. I could see him behind me, and he had stood up, just like I had stood up. Now, I've seen God many times. I've been to the throne, but I've never seen him standing up off of the throne. He's always been sitting. But when I jumped up out of my chair, me and my Father are one, he jumped up off his throne. Oh my gosh. He jumped up off his throne. And he was pointing at me when I saw the pirates, and I began to, command them to go. He was pointing his finger at me, and he was saying, go. Yes, he was cheering me on. And I saw it, but I never turned my head. And I was able to see them too. Why am I sharing all that? That's the voice that you need to be listening to bring you into your wealthy places, to bring you into heavenly success, because I am your heavenly success specialist. That's the voice that you need to be listening to, the one that's coming from behind you, leading you, guiding you, teaching you, and cheering you on. That's the voice. No other voice. But you can't hear that voice if you're not doing what I was doing, spending time with him. Are you sensing the theme over and over and over again? Becoming acquainted with him. You can't have heavenly success if you're not spending any time in the heavenlies. So, that's what I wanted to come on today to share with you all. Is there anything that you want to ask me about how I got into this place of being okay with the greatness that I have without needing to be plastered on every flyer or sitting on somebody's TV program? Any questions, comments, thoughts? Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I pray this sets you free. I pray that this sets you free. I pray that it has recalibrated you. I pray that it has caused your focus to be back where it needs to be, which is on him. You are blessed, Hannah. You are so blessed. You are so blessed, and so is the work of your hands, not just you. The work that he has assigned you to do is blessed. Know it, walk in it. Don't be deterred. Don't look back. Don't look to the left or to the right. Don't pay attention to the size or the perceived size. Okay? Size does matter. Yeah, it does matter. But it matters based on how we're defining it according to the kingdom. Blessings to you too. Not based on how man defines it. Okay? It does matter. Merida Saba. Are you making big impact? Not just having a big platform. I think you are a great example of what God does and can do. Church is so cookie cut and most people seem, I can't read all that, but I got you. I got you. All right, you all. I'm going to, you're welcome. I'm going to log off. I'm going to share this in a couple other places. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Hey, share this, okay? Share it. I know that you popped on and it was completely impromptu. I thank you for share this. Why? Because people need to hear it. They need to be set free from platform idolatry. That's what I would call it. If I were to give this a title, you can just share and say, hey, watch this and get free from platform idolatry. Thank you, you all. Blessings on the work he's assigned your hands and on the rest of your day.